the man from whom this hair came, he's bald on the other side. Because I now own his scalp. That is the way.
10 Native American Westerns.
Native American Indians are an integral part of this genre of films. Western films have depicted Native Americans in good as well as in dark light. Depends upon who's writing the film. Here is a list of 10 Native American Indian movies from the Western genre. Of course, there are many more than 10, but this is a good start. If you like this video, take a look at my channel for many more. The link is in the description. "100 Rifles" 1969 by Tom Grease. In 1912 Sonora, Mexico, Arizona lawman Lydecker chases Yaqui Joe, a half Yaqui, half white bank robber who has stolen $6,000. Both men are captured by the Mexican General Verdugo. Lydecker learns that Joe used the loot to buy 100 rifles for the Yaqui people, who are being repressed by the government. Lydecker is not interested in Joe's motive, and intends to recover the money and apprehend Joe to further his career.
You saw all them engines hung up like a side of a beef. After all the trouble we went through to get them rifles?
Look, I spent 15 years in the 9th Cavalry, keeping the law and chasing bad Indians. But this one ain't my business, it ain't my fight, and it ain't my job.
We should have killed him.
Sheriff, by the time I'm through with you, you'll be ready to tell me everything I want to know.
I'm sorry you got mixed up in this.
You ain't half as sorry as me.
A Man Called Horse, 1970 by Elliot Silverstein. English aristocrat John Morgan is captured, enslaved, and treated like an animal by a Native American tribe. He comes to respect his captor's culture and gain their respect. He is aided in understanding the Sioux by another captive, Batisse, the tribe's half-breed fool, who had tried to escape and was hamstrung behind both knees. Determining that his only chance of freedom is to gain the respect of the tribe, he overcomes his repugnance and kills 2 warriors from the neighboring enemy Shoshone tribe, which allows him to claim warrior status. After his victory, he proposes marriage to one of the women with the horses taken in battle as bride price and undergoes painful initiation rites, taking the native name, Shunkawakan, or horse, as his Sioux name.
When you first brought me here, you said I was a horse, an animal. And to me, you were mean, vicious, ignorant, superstitious, benighted savage. And when you fight your enemies and their arrows pierce your skin, you bleed like all men. But it seems to me that you only live to hunt your buffalo, to fight the Shoshone, and to have your women. I know you would say to me, what else is there? One day I will be a chief.
Apache, 1954 by Robert Aldrich. Following the surrender of the great leader Geronimo, Maasai, the last Apache warrior, is captured and sent on a prison train to a reservation in Florida. But he manages to escape in Oklahoma and heads back to his homeland to win back his woman and settle down to grow crops. His pursuers have other ideas though. Broken Arrow, 1950 by Delmer Daves. Tom Jeffords comes across a wounded, 14-year-old Apache boy dying from buckshot wounds in his back. Jeffords gives the boy water and treats his wounds. The boy's tribesmen appear and are initially hostile, but decide to let Jeffords go free. However, when a group of gold prospectors approaches, the Apache gag Jeffords and tie him to a tree. Helpless, he watches as they attack the prospectors and torture the survivors. The warriors then let him go, but warn him not to enter Apache territory again.
So dogs scared my life. For 3 days I climbed higher into the mountains in which the Apache stronghold was hidden.
Cheyenne Autumn, 1964 by John Ford. In 1878, Chiefs Little Wolf and Dull Knife lead over 300 starved and weary Cheyenne Indians from their reservation in the Oklahoma Territory to their former traditional home in Wyoming. The U.S. government sees this as an act of rebellion, and the sympathetic Captain Thomas Archer of the U.S. Army is forced to lead his troops in an attempt to stop the tribe. As the press misrepresents the natives' motives and goals for their trek as malicious, the U.S. Secretary of the Interior Carl Schurz tries to prevent violence from erupting between the Army and the natives. Also featured are James Stewart as Marshal Wyatt Earp, Dolores Del Rio as Spanish Woman, and Carol Baker as a pacifist Quaker school teacher and Archer's love interest.
A small band of Cheyenne shot into a barren reservation in Oklahoma Territory. It was a time of desperation. These are the heroes of this epic story. The less than 300 men, women, and children fought a fantastic running battle with an army of more than 10,000 Mohicans in a seemingly hopeless exodus to their Yellowstone homeland, nearly 1,500 miles away.
Get the guns out! I'm at the wagon, sir! Get the guns! Go! Yes, sir! Come on, move it! Get him out of there! Let's go! I told you to cover that flank! I'm sorry, sir. From now on, you don't scratch till I hit.
And the cast is as big as the story and the spectacle. Filmed in Technicolor with giant Super Television 70 cameras. Cheyenne. And a supporting cast of thousands.
Dances with Wolves, 1990 by Kevin Costner. In 1863, First Lieutenant John J. Dunbar is wounded in battle at St. David's Field in Tennessee. The surgeon intends to amputate Dunbar's leg, choosing death in battle instead. He takes a horse and rides up to and along the Confederate lines. Confederate forces fire repeatedly at him and miss, and the Union Army takes advantage of the distraction to mount a successful attack. Dunbar receives both a citation for bravery and medical care that allows him to keep his leg. He is subsequently awarded Cisco, the horse that carried him during his suicide attempt, and his choice of posting. Dunbar requests a transfer to the western frontier, so he can see it before it disappears.
They're gonna hang you.
Flaming Star, 1960 by Don Siegel. Elvis Presley plays Pacer Burton, the son of a Kiowa mother and a Texan father working as a rancher. His family, including a half-brother, Clint, live a typical life on the Texan frontier. Life becomes anything but typical when a nearby tribe of Kiowa begin raiding neighboring homesteads. Pacer soon finds himself caught between the two worlds, part of both but belonging to neither.
In the West.
Single and save $1.
Torn between two loyalties, two loves, and fighting to save them both.
Not being my friend, you will be my enemy. And this house and all in it will die.
They wouldn't hurt us, Pacer. They're our own people.
No, Mom. They ain't my people. To tell the truth all the time.
Fired the conflict in Pacer's soul.
The worst. Made me feel it the worst.
Another caught in the middle of a savage, relentless struggle.
Well, this looks like it's going to be a real bad war. Everybody in this whole part of Texas is going to be in it sooner or later.
It was a time of vengeance, of the land being challenged by white man and red. It was a time for Pacer to choose, and whichever path he took, he had to hurt someone he loved.
Geronimo, an American Legend, 1993 by Walter Hill. The film loosely follows the events leading up to the surrender of Geronimo in 1886. A respected healer, Geronimo and his fellow Apache reluctantly agree to settle on a reservation established by the American government. In accordance with the Indian Removal Act, the tribe does its best to assimilate, but many Apache struggle to abandon their traditional way of life, while the government fails to honor its promise to keep American settlers from encroaching on tribal lands.
A lot of white eyes want to see Geronimo hanged for murder.
Not murder. War.
If you're in a fight with Apache and things go bad, you save the last bullet for yourself. You don't want to get taken alive.
When an army of 5,000 couldn't defeat him,
he's a warrior, every bit born in battle.
They sent one man to offer him peace.
I want you to find Geronimo and make him this proposal.
I don't think you or the government intend to keep this promise.
Great, Geronimo. And I think you're nothing but a murdering red rat.
You don't love who you're fighting for, and you don't hate who you're fighting against.
Perhaps I could learn to hate with the proper vigor from you.
Columbia Pictures presents an epic story of freedom, of honor, of a trust between two men. Jason Patrick, Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, and Wes Studi.
I am Geronimo, an Apache. Who are you?
Just a man, like you.
The Last of the Mohicans, 1992 by Michael Mann. In 1757, British Army Major Duncan Hayward arrives in Albany, New York, during the French and Indian War. He is assigned to Colonel Edmund Monroe, the commander of Fort William Henry in the Adirondack Mountains. Hayward is tasked with escorting Monroe's two daughters, Cora and Alice, to their father. Before they leave, Hayward asks Cora to marry him, but she asks for more time before giving her answer. A Mohawk named Magua is tasked with guiding Hayward, the two women, and a troop of British soldiers to the fort, but he is actually a Huron who leads them into an ambush that kills most of the soldiers. Mohican Chingachgook, his son Uncas, and his white, adopted son, Hawkeye, arrive and kill all of the Hurons except Magua, who escapes. The trio agrees to take the women and Hayward to the fort. During the trek, they find another massacre at a farm, but do not stop to bury the victims so as not to alert the Hurons to their presence. Cora and Hawkeye are attracted to each other, as are Uncas and Alice. Little Big Man, 1970 by Arthur Penn. In 1970, 121-year-old Jack Crabb, the oldest man in the world, is residing in a hospice and recounts his life story to a curious historian. Among other things, Crabb claims to have been a captive of the Cheyenne, a gunslinger, an associate of Wild Bill Hickok, a scout for General George Armstrong Custer, and the sole white survivor of the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Thanks for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate likes, shares and subscribers. Don't forget to hit the notification button to get my new videos. Drop me your comments. Bye for now. Interesting facts about famous people.